Count your opinions important, so you gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spell out, let me hear you loud, proud. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues.
What do you really want, what they
Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters. And tonight, we are talking about the violence in our community in Indiana.
Yes.
Sad subject to have to talk about.
Yes.
Much needed. It's
True.
a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, daily.
I know something crazy happened today. I work for a school system, and the students start telling me, Miss V, my mom called and said for me not to go to my school. So something bad happened today. Y'all hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the details. So anybody care to share?
I don't think any details has come out as of yet. I don't think anything. All by hearsay or what the streets say or whatever. There was some incident where a person was, I'm going to say allegedly, apparently, or however you want to say it, because we don't know what truly happened, was stabbed at Snyder today. So just don't know what happened.
And that's the thing. A lot of times when it's young people, teenagers, then they, have to keep it kind of quiet and hush until, certain things get out. But do y'all think it was strange how do you feel, especially being parents, for parents to call their child out of school, like right after that, or tell them not to go to that particular school? Because see, where I work, they are there half a day and then they go to their home schools. So parents can interject and say, hey, don't go there. I want you to come straight home.
Yeah.
What do you think? And what if you were in that situation? How would you handle that?
Get my child home.
Come home?
Period. I ain't got time.
What if they already solved it? They got the
Don't matter.
person.
Come on home.
Okay.
Because at some point you have to understand one thing. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna just say it. Take it how you want, but enjoy your night.
Okay.
Evidently, that school faculty don't have control of that school. I mean, you got to look at it from the whole picture. For anything that pops off like that,
You say you just gonna blame the whole school system?
Yes. Well, why not? Because if I'm sending my child to you, and I'm not saying my child is the greatest, but they have control over the school.
Yeah, but
It's
what
a
if they
must.
have control over the school? And the question is, what does that look like? That's one question. But what about, you can't really know what everybody has. I mean, they got the metal detectors and different things like that. But what if they already have it in the school? For example, in our school, our students have razors.
And
Right
get
in
that,
their
but at
kit.
the end of the day, I mean, I've been to school. I didn't have situations at the school I went to, but it was controlled. Regardless of what, it was controlled. Some of the problem is the parents, and I'm gonna contribute half and half.
Okay.
Because the simple fact, if you sending your child to school and your child is one of the children that's tearing up, and you're not doing nothing to solve that problem, that's your fault.
Okay.
But the other part of it is they need to pull all the politics out of school and just let it be ran like it need to be ran.
Yeah, but everybody has their own idea of what that looks like. So
Okay,
that's why I'm saying when you
everybody
say
had
control.
So when I say control, say if I was a principal at a school, I want to surround myself by like-minded people.
Okay.
So if I'm surrounding myself by like-minded people and we all on the same page and on one accord, and we don't have our hands like this, we can hold reins of that school.
Right, but I'm saying that sounds good.
It's comments. I mean, it sounds good, but that's the way it should be done.
Yeah.
I mean, I just look at it like that. Yeah. That's how it should be done.
Okay, and that's Eve's perspective. Jill, you got something?
I'm not going to lie. I'm very grateful that I no longer have that. My daughter is not in, a high school anymore, or elementary or anything, because she went to Leo, and where there were some things that happened there, and it did make me uneasy. And, you know, like E said, it's not just the actual event, but there's an aftermath of the event as well. And, you know, our children are required by law to be at school, correct? So, or at homeschool or whatever. So with that being said, I feel like, number one, why did a teenager, and at this point, again, we don't know details. I don't know if this was 14-year-old, 17-year-old, it doesn't
Right, it
matter.
doesn't matter
But
the
it's
age,
not, it's not like this child, I'm assuming, just felt like bringing a knife or whatever they brought to school. So obviously, this is something that was probably building up. But I also think that the faculty is so focused right now on, or not really the faculty, but we are expecting faculty to be more focused on what books to ban or what to call someone or whatever.
Exactly.
So I
Yeah.
think we're missing a lot of what's really going on in these schools that's escalating up to this point, because I guarantee there were a few students that knew what was going to happen. So I just think, again, there's a lot of safety should be number one priority ahead of anything else. And I would think that most parents who have children in school, regardless of what grade, probably do not feel safe, like you know, sending their kids to school.
Right. And when he said 50-50, now what came to my mind immediately was, am I having a conversation with my child when they come home from school? So maybe even if a parent had interjected or had a conversation with their child the day before, maybe something happened the day before, right? But do you, and I'm just, you know, speaking to you guys, you know what it's like. Your child comes home, maybe you're busy, you're overworked, 2 jobs, etc. You know, do you have time for those conversations? And so I'm just saying, there's always a solution, but kind of like where you were going, Jill, something happened that caused that. So it's not like he woke up that day and say, I'm just going to do this
Grab
just
this,
as a, so getting to the root cause of some of the things. So I think having more conversation at home to lean toward what E was saying, Clarence.
Well, you asked what would I do? I actually, excuse me, I actually experienced this event. You know, I think my daughter was a sophomore in high school, and she was at Concordia. She was in the lunchroom, and an incident popped off.
A private school?
Yes,
No,
she was
I'm
at
just
Concordia. One student actually stabbed another student in the neck, and this was like 3 to 5 feet away from my daughter.
Yes, I remember that.
She actually got blood on her chair from this incident. And I'm like, E, she called me. She said, Daddy. I said, meet me at Subway.
Yeah.
You know, Subway was
Exactly.
across the street.
Across the
At
street.
I said, just meet me at Subway. Did I tell her to tell anybody she was leaving? No. I said, meet me. I'm going
Get
to
out
pick
of
you
here.
up.
Is what you're
I'm going
saying.
to pick you up at Subway. Then we'll figure everything else out.
Yes.
You were talking about the parents and how they overreacted. The problem is the parents act according to when they have knowledge of it. They get knowledge after the fact. So yes, they're calling and it's been diffused, but I don't know that. I'm just you're just now telling me.
Right.
So, but also
And you never know how many other people are involved.
Yeah, you never know.
So you got one, but how many other
and
incidents?
50-50. I have to. I'm not placing blame, but we got to be open eyes. This is like the second or third incident. They had a person walking around in that school not too long ago that had graduated like a year or two
Right. Wasn't
early.
even.
You know, so how do you not, you know, if these incidents is going, shouldn't your security had been tightened from that incident alone?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not placing blame. Let's look at it
That's
realistically.
reality. That's reality.
If you had already had an incident or two, shouldn't your security
Shouldn't you
have
be
been-
ready? Is what you're saying.
or more alert? You can't
More
be
alert.
ready.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. You know,
Yeah.
being in the school system, there's so many things that can get in the way and cause you not to have a door locked during that time.
Correct.
And you know, unless you're there, you won't really know it. And so when you're on the outside, it's easy to say what could have, would have, should have happened. But you know, that's just one incident. But
Right.
we're talking about violence. You know, not just even in our community, but violence. Period.
Yes.
And so, you know, we get it. It goes all the way back biblically, if we think about that. Violence has been there since the beginning, right? So the question I want to make sure we leave with is: are there solutions? What can we do? You know, and if it's near you, safety for yourself and for others around you, etc. We want to make sure we get to that. But some of the other things that occurred that, really made you feel some way. Have you noticed that sometimes you can hear stuff and you don't think twice about it?
Yes, I think we've grown.
Clarence, you mentioned something about
I,
that.
I think we've grown desensitized to a lot of situations and things like that. And not only have we grown desensitized, we've learned to relish in the entertainment of some downfalls, some tragedy, some nonsense and things that's going on.
100%.
Yeah, like I don't know the incident. I just heard it on the news and I heard people talking about it. There was an incident at a place, bar, I believe it was. It was, this young lady got attacked, apparently by a gentleman, and I'm saying apparently because I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't a witness. I really don't know the whole
So
story.
you believe multiple people were involved in this particular
well, that's what
incident.
the report said. But it's not only the people that was involved in it physically. There were many videos of this incident that was going around.
Hundreds.
People had their phones out, video. Instead of, intervening, we find the entertainment and we find that we're desensitized and we're waiting for the next thing to pop off.
Yeah.
We see somebody get loud, so we grab our camera because we know the next thing is going to pop off.
Wow.
Instead of us saying, no, we should not let this get to there. There's some way that we should maybe intervene, but no, we wait till it pop off and then we post it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think we are almost, and this is kind of good and bad, but do you feel like we are almost looking for a moment to film, to record, and then we put it out there so it can go viral? Are we looking to create viral videos,
I
or
think
are we
I think
recording
they
because
really
we
are.
want to help the community?
No, they really are trying to be viral about this situation, and which is sickening because when you sit there and record a fight, when you can easily dissolve
Stop
it or
it.
de-escalate,
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
You know,
de-escalating is a major word.
if you if you could de-escalate a fight and smooth it out
We're
before
gonna
it
have to tell
gets to
people
that
why
point.
y'all laughing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're gonna have to share that
tell
inside
that,
joke.
yeah.
They're gonna tell you about that
It's inside for a
joke.
reason.
We're definitely not laughing about the situation or the
Right,
violence,
right.
But if you can stop it before it get to that point,
Yes.
it's better to stop it than trying to hold a video up. And it's shameful. And I mean, personally, I think when people hold their video camera up and want to film a fight and somebody gets seriously hurt, for every camera that was up there that was recording, y'all should be a part of that charge.
Yep.
There used to be a
Wow.
Good Samaritan law such as that I don't know if it's there anymore, but some states used to have Good Samaritan laws that if that happened, you could be prosecuted.
know-
Because go ahead.
You just asked the question. You said, do you think that people do this to go viral or to help the community? So I'm going to give an example. I'm not going to say a lot or mention any names, but I know this woman that was the victim. And I actually spoke with her on Tuesday for quite a while. So I will tell you that all of these videos that were posted, hundreds, all of a sudden were gone. So if these videos were posted to help, this woman would not be begging and pleading and offering to pay people publicly to come forward with these videos that disappeared. So
Absolutely.
she's even said, if you want to send it to the detective, if you want to post it anonymously, make a fake profile. Do you know how many videos have been given to the detectives or given to her personally?
Not a one.
Zero.
Not a one.
None. Zero.
Because it's strictly for entertainment.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that's what sickens. It's strictly for entertainment. It's just like, why?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, for people that to be there and
Not intervene.
not intervene, especially
Yes.
when you.
Yes.
It's hold on. I need the camera right here. I need the camera right here.
Preach, E. Preach.
V
I
now.
need the camera right here. Fellas,
Uh-oh.
if we don't protect our women, who will?
Yes.
At what point do we stand up and say, not my woman?
Right.
I mean, let's be realistic about it. For any man to put their hands on a female,
Preach.
man, I got so many words I really want to say, but this is a family show. But y'all weak. I mean, seriously weak.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, putting your hands on a woman, you just suck to me.
Yeah.
Thank you, E, for sharing your heart with that.
I want to get on that with E as well, because not only did the person, the man that has been arrested for this, but you can't tell me that there was not one man or two. And
Exactly.
The problem is that I don't want to intervene. I could have got hurt. I could have did this. There are many ways you could have intervened before it got there peacefully that it wouldn't happen. 2 or 3 guys could have walked up to him and said, "Yo, bro, it ain't worth this." You know,
Exactly. It's not worth
it. This is not the time. This is not the place. You know, we are too caught up in minding our own business or in, you know, like I said, or being entertained. You didn't have to be violent. You didn't have to. I know he might have had a boy. He might have had a cousin. He might have had a good friend. He might have had a brother. Somebody could have walked up and said, "Bro, this ain't this right now. Let's." But none of us intervened.
But you know, sometimes the truth is, it happens so fast. And I get it. In this case, people were recording it, whatever. But I'm saying in certain situations, sometimes things happen so fast, right? And you don't really have time to intervene. You don't have time to think about what to do. Or, you know, certain situations happen and you're almost in shock that you're even witnessing this.
Right.
So, you know, I'll say this. In certain places, do you agree they should have, the officers should be there, security or whatever? Somebody else should be there.
And they were.
Outside.
And I was getting ready to
Yeah.
say, so for that particular thing, I never heard about them intervening. I don't know at what point they did, if it was too late, were they on the other side?
right.
And so those are the things that, you know, concern me about being in certain places.
Yeah.
Now, and too bad we can't have a nice place where we can go and hang out at night and feel safe in our community. But that's just one incident.
But
Okay, you wanted to say something else about that?
And I think we're going in the same place. I don't think we don't have a nice place. The problem is we take our environment, our thoughts in the places, you know, and things happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have an age range. There was another incident.
And you just said where I was going.
Okay, go
you
ahead.
said that it does not have an age range. And so that's where I was going to go. So for certain age groups and this particular incident were adults.
Correct.
So we can be clear about that. It was not a teenage fight,
Right.
etc. But so places and age ranges. Who's causing these problems? What's going on in our community? Where is this violence stemming from now? If you think
I don't
anything-
believe it's an age range because there
particular.
was another one that, you know, was an age restricted and up.
Yes. 25 and up.
Yeah, and it popped off there. You know, so at what age are we saying we're not gonna? I mean, even at the Legion, and you know, it has not all been the young people at the Legion that it's caused. I mean, so there's no age. I'm gonna say, I think it's a mentality. I think it's a mindset.
Are we
Because-
mad? I mean, what's going on? Is there anything? I mean, the lack of jobs, the lack of
There's no lack of jobs.
funds.
Right.
Well,
We
there's
just
no-
wilding out,
Well,
gang
it-
related. What
it's, it's not all of that. Let's first of all, you know, I can't say, you know, everybody want to blame it on. Oh, it was at a bar, so alcohol had to be involved. That's the first thing. It does not mean that alcohol had to be involved.
Exactly.
You know, but that's what we want to say. I don't know what it is. Now, I don't understand why there's no, you know, there's no peaceful conversation or any, you know, if something happened, we don't say sorry anymore. Like if I step on Eric's shoe in a club, automatically Eric got an alt against me and he's upset.
I can clean my shoe up. No, I can clean my
No,
shoe
but
up.
I'm not just using that as an example.
I mean,
but
But because you're saying that, but that happened
That-
before.
No,
that
it
happened.
has happened. I mean, I've been in that situation before where it has happened, where you want to fight because I stepped on your foot. Okay, my bad, dude. But we walking bumper to bumper.
But and haven't you seen those people? And you said my bad dude, but you see there are some people that's out here in the community. It doesn't matter if you say I'm sorry, I apologize, but they come to they want something to happen.
Well, because it, honestly, on that end, it's all about stupidity at this point.
Okay.
Because guess what? I could scuff a pair of shoes. I could go buy another pair. First and foremost. Second of all, if your mindset is not mature enough to be in that situation, which we can't scan minds right now. And they're probably working on it. With scan, is this person mature enough? But your maturity level is not to the capacity where you should be out in public. Because
Right.
you taking too many drugs at this point. These kids, these young folks is literally
So there's one.
popping all kinds of
Okay.
pills and doing this, that, and the other, and not realizing when they step out to go out, their whole mind is not even oblivious to what's going on.
That's
Right.
not even worse. So you said something. So mindset.
Yeah.
You said something. Drugs.
Yes.
Which alters your state of mind
Yeah.
in your decision making, in the different choices you make. That's gonna make
Yeah.
things continue to get out of control. And then, so I just want to remind you. Remember at the beginning, I was talking about how violence goes all the way back to the beginning of time. And so there's a scripture that comes to mind that I want to share that relates to violence. And probably some of the stuff that's going on today is Psalm 73:6. It says, therefore, pride serves as their necklace. Violence covers them like a garment.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, some people, so that's what I'm saying, we think about the root. Some people walking around and they have so much pride that you cannot step on my gym shoe,
Right.
my brother. You can't even bump up against me or we're going to have a problem. It doesn't matter. I don't know what caused this disagreement and this violence to happen at this location.
Yeah.
But somebody had to get the last word. Somebody had to punch first. Somebody had to step outside. And listen what it says. Pride serves as their necklace. You're walking around, you wearing this, and you feel good about it.
Yeah.
And you're flossing basically. But then violence is all over you. And that's where we are. And so I wish we could get to the root cause. And I know we have a show where we have our mental health team and they deal with that. I think that it's going to deal with the mind. It's always going to go back to the mindset and where people come from, you know, their upbringing, etc. What has created
most
this?
Well, and I'm gonna go with you, Eda, and most people. But here's the problem, and we're talking about incidents that people would say that environment, that place, it deserves that, things like that. But that's not the only place this violence is happening within our city. I don't know. Again, I don't know instances. I haven't heard much, but an incident in Huntertown, I believe, happened earlier today. So that's another. It's not relative to your culture.
Right.
It's not relative to your sex. It's not relative to your age. It's not relative to your financial status. It's not relative. Violence right now is just at an all-time level, and it could be mental strain. It could be drugs. It could be a number of factors. But the fact is, you can't state that it's to one culture. But
Not one culture.
but what I want to say on the flip side of that, to my culture,
Okay.
it's already a negative light. We're already put in that. That's how we behave. We don't have to prove them right. We don't have to prove them right.
We don't.
We don't have to go out to show everybody that I'm Billy. That I'm the one, that I'm clothed. We don't have to show that. We don't have to carry that I'm going out, that I'm setting out, that if I see so-and-so, it's on site.
On site.
We don't have to carry that. We don't have to have that mentality. We can go out and have fun. We can. But why don't we? It's a question. We can go to places. I've been to places that, it's been a lot of people and there's not been any incidents.
Yeah.
I've been to the places where it's been a few people and it's been a whole lot of incidents. So you can't say that, it's just, and what I'm saying is we don't have to.
So
Can
do
I
you
say-
think the father's in the house, and then Jill, you can take it from there. But I was going to say, do you think the fathers and the mothers in the home, because he said something about the parents, do you think they're having that conversation to say, listen, set violence aside. There's another way to handle this, or do you think it's by any means necessary?
I think at this time of age,
And
no. And I'm going to tell you why.
No conversations happening.
It's too busy chasing that bag.
Okay.
I got to go work. I got to go here. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's time out to run around trying to chase some money. It's time out to just sit back. The way that the world is running rapid now, is too much that your child is exposed to, our children are exposed to.
Okay.
And without guidance,
At a young age.
at a young age, without guidance or understanding, teaching them how to deal with certain things, it's just going to keep going. It's one thing I would tell anybody, is, especially with our culture, it's time to stop reacting and learn how to respond.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm gonna,
Jill was going to say something.
yeah, I'm
real
gonna let her speak. But Doc V, if we go a few minutes over, don't cut off because it's fine. No, we just want to have a conversation. Go ahead. Jill.
So, there's a saying, and I'm not going to quote it exactly because I don't remember it, but I think of it quite often. And it says something about instead of figuring out how to save the people that are drowning in the river, we need to find out why they're falling in. So I say that to say this. I work in two different fields where I see a lot, I observe a lot. I'm going to use the parole gentleman, for example. All of us run across something where we get very upset and we know that we can either make this choice or this one. So the other day I had an instance where, I was being threatened. I was very angry. There are a lot of things I wanted to do, but what stopped me from doing this? What stopped me was I have value for my own life. I have value for my freedom.
Right.
I really truly feel that there is a very minimal amount placed on not just another person's life,
Yes.
but on your own life. And when you do not see value in your life, those consequences, those things that stop me from doing this, they don't exist
Exactly.
in that world.
And so that's when I was saying what's the stem cause, what's the root, what's missing,
Self-hate.
what can we do? And what are we supposed to be teaching our young people at a young age?
Yes.
I'm talking about, what is it? If by 3, if you're not reading,
Yeah,
you're not going to be
You're
right.
supposed to be going to prison.
Exactly. So I'm saying, are we teaching these things and instilling these values in our young people so that they can think that way about themselves and understand self-worth?
Yeah. To answer your question, that you said, do the parents have this? 2 things. There's some that don't. Then there's some that are trying. Then there's some that do.
Yes.
There's some that teaches their child to be like them, no matter what, And then there's some that says, well, no, I've been through that. You don't have to be like that. So
Some say carry the gun,
Yes.
make sure it's loaded.
Yeah.
And this is how you shoot
Yeah.
it. Some say you don't need a gun.
right.
Use your
But
your words.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you have those parents that's trying that I'd rather listen to my boy than hear what my
Right.
mom or dad is saying.
Right.
Because my mom and dad don't know. Now, they don't know what's going on out here. So
They
I'm more
don't know what
influenced
I'm
by
dealing
the
with.
people who I'm surrounded myself with. So
That's right.
I'm a victim of who I surround myself with. So,
I got
so,
a saying for
so,
that. I got a saying for
and
that.
I'm just saying. So we can't say all parents are not.
That's
We
right.
can't blame. There are parents that are single, married, separate, whatever. They're still trying
That's right.
to raise a child in the right way, but there's circumstances that are happening that it's beyond their control.
I get you, Clarence, on that point.
Before E go, and I was going to say, E, keep this in mind too. Talking too much. Do you feel like sometimes parents talk too much and they don't listen enough to what their child is going through or dealing with? Sit down, talk to me. How was your day? And listen
I got a
for
question.
real.
I got a question behind
And
it.
then E, wait, E was
Go
going.
ahead.
You know something? I feel we need to go back to the old ways. We really need to retract some of the old time bringing up. Shut up and listen.
Yes. I'm the parent, you're the child.
Because the simple fact, you think we don't know what's going on. There's nothing new under the sun.
Amen.
So at the end of the day, been
Might
there.
be a little bit.
No, there's nothing new under the sun. And like I tell my kids, I've been through enough stuff where you don't have to endure a lot of it.
Right.
Because the simple fact, I could tell you what this is going to end up being or how this is going to end up being because I've been there, done that. And then on top of that is, I can't think of his name right now, but he said one of the most powerful quotes I would ever hear, and I wish I would have heard that growing up. He said, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future."
Yeah.
Okay.
So, who you hang around, and who you choose to be around, and who you choose to follow, if they going that way, guess where you going?
100%.
You going the same way they're going. Now, if you go in the opposite direction you got friends that's over here,
Right.
and you choose not to deal with your friends over here because this is not fun as this over here, once again, show me your friends, I'll show you your
Okay.
future.
Agreed,
Okay.
100.
Now, E, you said something and you kind of flipped what I said, but I'm going to flip it back. And so, because I agree with you, but at the same time, what I'm saying is when you say shut up and listen, what if your child said that to you? Wait. No, I'm just saying, not literally.
Right.
But what if they said, no, listen now.
hold
What
tight,
if they
hold
said,
tight,
no,
check it.
Dad, no, Mom, you shut up and listen, because that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because you don't pay me any attention. I've been coming in late every night. I've been carrying a loaded gun in my gym bag for the last 3 weeks. You too busy doing your own thing and got your own agenda. So I just want you to listen to me sometimes and watch this and listen to what I'm not saying.
Right.
Listen to what I'm showing.
Yeah. Can I answer that? First, your question are, do you talk too much and not listen? And my question is, are you talking at or are you talking to? There's a difference. Because when I'm talking at, sometimes it's that shut up and listen, but sometimes that shut up and listen is actually needed. It really is. You doing it wrong. You way out there. But then when I'm talking to, that's a dialogue. That's a conversation. We're trying to figure it out. We're having this out. So are you talking at or are you talking to? But to E quote, I don't know who quoted that. I really don't. But I'm
Ray
gonna tell
Lewis.
You, I'm
Ray
gonna tell
Lewis.
You who told me that before Ray Lewis.
Okay, that's what I've heard.
Eugene White.
Okay.
He was a principal at Wayne High School. He told me that. He was like, I know you have your friends, but they're going to be doing the same thing 10 years from now that they're doing now. You are not made of that. You can want to be with them, then you're going to be like them, but you're not going to be, So you have to make that choice. Which way you going? But the talk at and the talk to. But here's where we need, and I do agree with E. We need to get back to old times, whatever old time you want to think. But I want to think of fundamentals. We first of all not only gotta love, as Jill said, we gotta find love within ourselves. We gotta find comfort within ourselves. The problem is, everything has a reason or a problem. We treat too much instead of let things, like I'm gonna say bullying is a bad thing. Let me say that. Bullying, right? But I think, like we used to do. We used to have fun. I think, I could talk about E and his mama all day, but guess what? At the end of the day, we outside playing. We work through those things. I don't think there's coping skills that are giving, generations,
And
even
where does
older
that stem
people.
from? And that's what I'm saying. So we are shaped, and people don't want to admit it, we are shaped by our environment too, just like a cactus.
Yeah, so-
I'm saying some things that we do is because that's what we know.
Right.
That's what we grew up. That's how we
Correct.
thought about
Yes.
that particular person, that culture, etc.
Right.
So our environment is the truth. It actually shapes us and it shapes our behavior.
Yeah.
So even if we don't want to admit it, it's true. It matters.
Yeah, it does.
Right. And so because this conversation, we're talking about violence, it can continue and continue and continue. I do want to make mention of organizations that's in the community that may be working to help our young people. You have somebody, you have some avenues and outlets that you can, redirect your children to, especially if you don't have time, because we get it. You are working. You got to work 2-3 jobs, whatever it is, to make things happen. There's places, and I just want to mention a couple places. I'm going to say the building.
The Kings
mentoring group. That's one. We also have Voices of Unity that have a whole lot of other things to offer, not just the choir or singing. There's a whole lot of other things that I didn't know they were doing, but different training classes, etc. Promoting leadership skills and qualities. There's some other organizations. I can't remember the one man that was here. But if you guys know some and you want to toss them out there real quick,
like
besides the builders,
the Boys and Girls,
Boys and Girls
Club.
But the Queens, remember
Kings and Queens
the boxes?
Foundation.
Marcus Benjamin.
Yes.
Kings and
Marcus.
Queens box.
And I think too, we talk all the time about, kids need direction. Shoot, adults need direction.
That's
So,
right.
so
Yes.
if you're not giving them direction, they're going to go get it somewhere, whether it be TikTok, whether it be
Yes.
YouTube, bad type of direction. So one thing, and I'm going to mention the Building Kings mentoring group because I've been watching it on Saturdays. They always have a workshop, right?
Yes.
So the last workshop that I watched, they actually had a gentleman from Courageous Healing there. I forget his first name. But anyway, he was one of the young gentlemen came out and he said, can I hug you? And they stood there for a second and they hugged. And I think a lot of times what we forget is a lot of people don't have the parents at home that are giving the direction, or maybe they're modeling the behavior that they are seeing. So these organizations are so important to support because they are giving the direction that maybe their child isn't getting at home, or they're just not paying any attention to the direction that they're getting.
Exactly.
Right. And I agree with all that. I think we need these organizations. I think that, but I think some things really have to continue to be driven. I mean, it's good to give outlets. It's good to give, and I'm not knocking, but I'm just saying there's some core things we need to get back to.
Right.
As I was saying, we have to first love
But parents,
ourselves.
I was going to say, they have to be things that we can do.
Yeah.
So are you going to share?
Yeah.
Please share with our audience as we get ready to exit. What can they do
Parents
today?
If you are a parent, and there are people that are mothers and fathers but are not parents.
Right.
There are people that are mother and fathers that are not parents. But if you're parenting your children, teach your children right. Teach them how to love not only themselves and value themselves, as Jill said, value themselves, but value your next person, your neighbor. It doesn't mean the person that lives next door to you. Right. That means the person that's around you, that are around you. Value them as much as you value yourself.
Yep.
Secondly, whatever envy or hatred, if I got it and you don't have it, instead of trying to come take mine, ask me how I got mine.
Exactly.
That's where these groups are, let me show you how to get what you need to get where you need to be.
Build.
So
Yourself.
instead of, but there's some people that teach, if somebody got it, you go get it. We need to stop teaching. We need to stop teaching negativity.
Yes.
And
And
start teaching
positive.
Positive.
Yeah.
My
Overall.
advice as a
Absolutely.
parent would be, a lot of times you see these what I call as adult bullies, women. I'm just going to say, for example, that are bullying other adults, whether you're making fun of someone's appearance or whatever. Your child is watching you act like that, so it's not always about what we are telling our kids.
It's what we show
How
them.
do
we show
I
'em.
act? How do I treat other people? How do I treat people that don't look like me? How do I treat everyone, and how do I model that behavior? And the second thing, the final thing that I have is something I learned as a parent early on is I did not say, "Did you have a good day?" Because what are you going to get? A yes or no. I said, "What happened at school today?" You have to.
Yes.
A lot of it is prevention, getting ahead of it. So I mean, nobody is a perfect parent, but that really helped me get my
That's the
daughter to
talking
open
to,
up.
not
Open up.
talking
Yes,
at.
Make them
exactly.
That's
talk.
the talking to it, not talking at.
That's it.
I just
Engagement.
Yeah, and I know we really got to get out of here, but let's just change the way that we deal with people, the way we see people, the way we look at people,
And one of the things I wanted to say before you
Yeah.
say that, I wanted to deal with snitching, but I don't want to really go deep into it. Would you say now that you see something, you say something, because the community a lot of times is going to be silent.
Yeah.
So being silent is actually
Well, let me tackle this
be-
one.
Yeah.
Let me tackle this one.
Silence
So-
is
We-
violence at
And,
times.
yeah, I just want to get that as we are
sure.
exiting out because he's going to take us out of here anyway.
We
so-
have this motto at my job: safety's first.
Okay.
And the key thing is see something, say something, do something.
Yeah.
Our community need to do the same thing, because safety of everybody around you, your safety is first.
That's it. Preach.
So you see something, say something, do something about it. And on time, well, I'm not no snitch. Listen here, if I see who shot Clarence in the head, I will stand up in court and say
Say so.
that's who did
As
it.
you should.
I'm not afraid to sit back and say that's who did it, because that's somebody that's close to me.
Don't say
At
it,
the-
Clarence.
what Bernie Mac say?
But I'm just saying, I mean, you just have to understand, in order to make your community safe, in order to
You right.
to hold your community down and to hold that person accountable, you gotta say something,
Yes.
do something. I mean, just do it.
Amen.
I mean,
Right.
period.
that's the
Because
way
guess what?
It's
That
gonna
could be
come-
your
It's
child.
coming your way.
That could be your child
Yeah.
that got killed, and I ain't no snitch. But you're gonna be the main one. Oh, can somebody please say,
Yeah.
come
Say
on?
something.
Yes.
That's
Let's
right.
make it make
Preach,
sense.
That's good.
That's
This
preach.
is Neutral Voices in Depth. I want to thank you for hanging with us this evening. And as we exit, E, what do we say to the people?
Always protect your mind.
A podcast by Neutral Voices
Your thoughts
Media
count,
Group,
your opinions
NV,
important, so you
NV.
gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spell out, let me hear you loud, proud. Shout it out, real loud. Everybody wake up, shout it out, real loud. Everybody wake up, wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices, we gon' deal with the issues.